And he's still an active Spider-Man. Still doing the whole Spider-Man thing. So, runs into Miles at Peter's tombstone. And Miles assaults Peter with his spider sense after detecting his using his spider sense. But, well, no, he's figured that he was some kind of creep because of the way he dresses, and then he realized that's Peter Parker by looking at him. Then he takes, after finding out that he didn't kill the other Peter Parker, he decides to still take his web shooters and swing Peter Parker from the other dimension around like a fucking ragdoll and having him hit his head into every vehicle and it's like on the freeway and traffic rush hour and signs and trains. Oh my! This is my house, Miles. Oh, he's good. He's holding on to Peter Parker literally as a human show as he swings through Manhattan, hilariously. Peter Parker ends up being a fucking black guy because of Miles, and he's questioned. He decides to interrogate Peter B. Parker, the one that he almost committed murder to several times. And he goes, "Who are you? Why you dressed like Spider-Man? Why you look like Peter Parker? And why you're so much older? And why you're fat? Why you a different shape than him?" And Peter responds, "I'm pretty sure you just called me fat, dude." And he says, "No, what? No, I didn't." And he's like, and Peter knows that he's not because he just doesn't want anyone to rub it in. Like Miles did by pointing it out. He's let himself go at his age. Because he suffered all these events, horrific events. And he just doesn't give a shit and not letting people in anymore because of it. And afraid to move on while still being an active Spider-Man, active hero. He kind of has given up on just in general on people and being social to people, and so yeah. So after Miles realized that he is Peter Parker, he says, "This is great. You're gonna train me to be Spider-Man." And he says, "No. You don't want to be Spider-Man, kid. Believe me," he says. He basically says, "Trust me, kid. You don't want to be Spider-Man. You're saving yourself a huge bunch of trouble if you're not Spider-Man. And stress. And and Miles tries to remind him of what makes him Spider-Man, which why he became Spider-Man in the first place by remembering what Uncle Ben taught him was great power comes great responsibility. He uses that against Peter Parker from the other dimension. That's in his late 30s. Late 30s. And he's been doing this gig for like 23 years as Spider-Man. And he's obviously gotten sick of it, but still doing it for some reason. And, Miles is like, It says use the whole great power without start saying the word. With great power comes great responsibility. And Peter angrily cuts him off. Do not say those words. Don't even finish that sentence. I am sick of that bull crap. Sick of it. The whole thing. And Miles broke the flash drive. That's the Peter's tickets home into also saving the Spider-Verse. The whole Spider-Verse. He broke it. While he was training and failed. By trying to swing off a short building and somehow failed, but somehow still alive, even though he hit the ground. Should probably dead or something, or at least bleeding or really getting bad boo-boos or something. But hey, it's played flat until you realize it's played for serious once he fucked up and broke the drive. So Peter explained the whole situation from Miles. It has the whole situation from Miles explained and why the plan's not going to work. Peter points out because it's his fault. He first day was on the job and he already messed up as Spider-Man. And this would not Peter discovers by pickpocketing Miles' suit and realized that he just broke the drive and was bluffing that he could help him if he was trained to be Spider-Man. He was using his ticket home that's broken as a bribe so he could get trained to be a competent Spider-Man. A experienced one. Our main hero, everyone, Miles Morales. So, in the last 15 minutes, once he gets the gist of the control of his powers and can do all on command and all stuff, Spider-Gwen's instantly in love with him. And it ends on her flirting with Miles and offering to go on a mission with her. I'm guessing. So, yeah, and he just smiles like this. And the end credits is this throwback and a cameo from 1967 Spider-Man, meeting up with 2099 Spider-Man from the comics, and them working off each other. That's the only thing. It's funny. It's also kind of annoying. But so is this whole movie is. And, and also the Pig gets this backstory called Spider-Pig. His secret idea is, Peter Porker. Who's from a dimension where all of the Marvel heroes are animals. Even the Avengers. And the supervillains. And the civilians. Yep. So, yeah. This film's very fucking bloated. Of loose ends, trying to tie up loose ends, rather than telling a very engaging, emotional story. It's more focused on this, explaining who's who, what we need to do. This guy knows this other guy, this guy runs into this other guy, who knows this other guy. That's basically what Into the Spider-Verse is about, mostly. And people say it's coming Rachel, but if it is, it's a really lazy one, I think. So, yeah. Miles and Peter beat Parker after some web training after they got caught because of Miles' stupidity of being a clumsy fool. Peter Parker decides to stall for Miles to make his escape route. And he decides to stall and he says, "Don't worry, I gotta tell you, as I've done this before." But he somehow forgets that he's in Kingpin's men are in there, and it's heavily guided by Kingpin's men, and so they're not really fans like he thinks. But I think Peter Parker, this version, it just makes so much sense because he's not thinking straight at all. And when Doc Ock, who's later revealed Doc Ock in this universe, who's played by a woman, who is a woman, figures that he got the gut from on his way from his dimension to a higher dimension where Miles is. So, and he displays on, yep, totally from the effects of it's totally that's totally from the effects of the portal from traveling through my dimension into here, and I don't know how to get back. So, then he gets tricked and going to get experimented on, and Miles helps him escape by doing his first useful deed as Spider-Man by turning invisible. It knocks her out cold. And they make a break for it. And he says, "Good news, I got the flash drive. The good news, we don't need to use the computer anymore. Good news is, I got the flash drive." And then he gets a muffin. Because that was part of his plan, get a snack at the snack bar. That was part of his diabolical plan, and it didn't involve Miles at all doing it at all, and he's playing any part in it. He screwed up the plan. He fucked it up. He's getting more trouble rather than doing more harm. He did more harm than good. And Peter actually ramps Miles guilt trips Peter into teaching him to be Spider-Man. So by playing all cute and innocent, and completely has and because Peter Down is a good person and cares about other people, it completely works on him. This kind of lazier, more mean-spirited version of Peter Parker that's suffering from severe depression. But not suicidal depression that we know of, so. And, so yeah. After we have to make a run for it and escape, that's when they run into Spider-Man, which is then when they go to Aunt May's place. They run into Aunt May, go to Aunt May's place, and then turns out Aunt May was like the Alfred of Miles, or Spider-Man, who helped him out and knew about his secret identity and supplied gadgets and suits for him. So, and she's like comes out and tells that he's not from this Earth, and she says, "You look tired, Peter," and he says, "I am tired." Because he's tired of, well, the whole living, because he's so tired of it, he says it because he's tired of life, he's tired of just in general, because he lost everything that ever mattered to him, because he was afraid to move on with his life and have a kid, and be a family with his attractive wife, MJ, so... And so once they see the spider cave, they run into all the other Spider-Mans. That's when they point out how useless Miles is. He does more harm than good. And they're trying to be nice to him, especially P.W. Parker. And they think the nicest offer is to just web him to a chair in his room and lock him in his room. And say, sorry about this, but we all share tragedies. Now let's web you and ditch you, you loser. I found that very humorous, that saying. Miles is my idea of the butt end of a joke in this movie. Not in the comics or any other version, this in this version. And I just don't like this Miles at all. Sure, I liked him in the last 15 minutes, but that's the last thing. But that doesn't really count because it doesn't feel earned the last 15 minutes when Miles gets the hang of his powers. It's not foreshadowing any events of this times when he's doing it intentionally, or he has to go through some serious montage to get the hang of his powers. It just gets through all of that, and after some inspiring words from his dad, he's now ready to take on the mantle of our experienced Spider-Man at the age 15. I think he's 15 in this, so yeah. So, yeah. He makes it in time just when the team needs him the most, and does a sneak attack on Doc Ock with Venom Punch while turning invincible. And Peter Parker, B. Parker, is just so proud of him. And he says, I taught him that. He got that from me. When he's doing something that Peter Parker, when he's like, because Peter Parker convinced himself he did kind of do a really good job as a teacher, and while Miles was teaching him that he is ready to be a dad and ready to be a father, like Uncle Ben was to him when he was a kid. So he decides to let go, and after making peace with his Aunt May and on the other Earth and MJ, and apologizing, saying he wasn't there for her, and then he realized oh wait, this is about bread. I'm making this about me. He snaps out of it at the last minute. And he says, I know I could just be the right person to get you that bread. It was both funny and sad and honest and heartwarming when he interacted with his Elseworlds Mary Jane, as much of it was when he interacted with his Elseworld Miles' world Aunt May. Those were the two most beautiful scenes. Those were very beautiful moments, very earned. Unlike Miles' moments, I can't say the same thing for Miles that ever felt earned, except maybe the one with him and his dad while he's tied up from the other Spider-Man. Miles is, and he says he sees the spark in Miles. That's why he's so high on him. He just knows that he's going to do something great one day, and that inspires him that he was going to be Spider-Man. And, so yeah. So, yeah. Very convoluted, very all over the place. That's kind of the fun of it, but that's also what it relies on. And what it dies on. Sort of. It's not unwatchable, but it's not watchable enough to be blowing your mind every minute, because it has great characters, well-rounded characters. Every character feels well-rounded when most of them don't, and the one that feels well-rounded and relatable by the end is Peter B. Parker from the other dimension, after Peter Parker from Miles Earth got killed off. So he goes to his Earth, makes up with MJ, brings her flowers, and see what happens, and hope for the best. While Miles, saves the day, and saves the Spider-Verse as Spider-Man, and says that he loves you to his dad while he's in his Spider-Man costume. And his dad found that weird because he didn't expect that to hear that from Spider-Man. So, his dad was rooting for his son, who he didn't know was Spider-Man when all hope looked lost for him. And he decided to do the touch, the love touch that you do when you flirt with a girl, that he tried with Gwen, that his uncle taught him, that got killed off by the Kingpin, because he couldn't go through with killing his own nephew, Miles. So, and he does the touch, and does the touch on Kingpin's shoulder, and makes his voice sound deeper, and says, "Hey," while lifting his one eyebrow, as well as Spider-Man mask on, and it gives Kingpin a jolt of venom blast, and Kingpin supposedly dies, and he shuts off the machine with the flash drive after defeating Kingpin. He's either dead or gets sent to another multiverse, I don't know. It's unclear a little, so... But then again, the whole tone of the film is very unclear of what they want to be the story, what the story's about. So Peter tells Miles that he won't know when he is ready to be Spider-Man, because being Spider-Man is a leap of faith. That's all it is. That's all it ever has been. See, I feel like most Spider-Man fans think that just because you can wear the mask, that makes you a Spider-Man. Yeah, everyone can wear the mask, but very few people have the guts to take a leap of faith, to take a chance on being a hero. A Spider-Man. Or a Spider-Girl or woman. A superhero. And that's the moral of the lesson of the story. Once we get Miles' backstory in comic book form, because we couldn't just save that for the sequel. We had to save that for Miles', because he's now experienced Spider-Man and got the hang of it now. And he says, "I am Miles Morales, and on my Earth, I'm the only Spider-Man. And I'm loving it." And he says, "I'm getting the hang of it." And he's he ends it like the Peter Parker that got killed off in the first 15 minutes of this film. Oh my god, Miles is going to get killed off in the sequel in the first 15 minutes of the film, isn't he? That's great! There is a silver lining. There is a God. There is heaven. I just found, I don't know that for sure. That's my prediction. So, yeah. And all the other Spider people go back to the dimensions and say a hot woman farewell to Miles. And before Peter goes back and says a hot woman farewell to Miles and realizes that taking a chance on MJ is a leap of faith, just like it is being Spider-Man. Because he learned that from Miles, because Miles learns to take a leap of faith to be Spider-Man from Peter. For the inspiration words of his real biological fire. I said fire, I meant father. While he was tied up by the other Spider-Man. It's a nice idea when you think about it, but this is really lots of crazy shit happening that doesn't feel a whole lot necessary. I mean, why having all these spider people if you're not going to flesh them out? And the ones that are going to flesh out